Alright guys, we're back today and we'll be talking about camshafts and what they do for you. Basically, most people put a camshaft in their car, they get that cool lumpy idle, they expect to go faster. Isn't always the case, but today we're going to look into basically what I did and how it allowed me to go faster, and I'll give you some real world examples with some videos. Awesome, let's get into it. 6600 RPM, so about here. Alright, so the first thing with camshafts, obviously people put them in their car so they can make more power. How does it do this? Generally, you have duration, lift, and lobe center lines that you need to worry about, which is basically, the important part is the overlap. And the overlap is the difference between the center lines of the camshafts, so the intake and the exhaust cam, whether you have a single cam or you have dual camshafts like in my car. Basically, the overlap is the period that the intake and the exhaust valve are both open at the same time. So why that's important? Inertial supercharging, which is basically the ramming air effect coming down your intake. Basically, when the intake valve closes, there's a reflective wave that bounces back and forth, and if everything's lined up, your intake length and your exhaust header primary size, length, all that kind of stuff, you can actually inertially supercharge your engine, which means you can get more than 100% cylinder density. I won't say volumetric efficiency, even though that is true. Cylinder density, the air density is basically more inside the cylinder than the atmosphere on the outside, right? So most cams, you can kind of get it right, and it will happen at some point in the RPM band, but a lot of people often miss out. They put a cam that's too big or too small, or just isn't right for their setup. So basically what we're trying to achieve with a larger cam is in most cases to increase our usable power band, whether it be moving it up or down or wherever we need to use it for our application, and also taking control of that inertial supercharging effect through the scavenging of the exhaust gases. And basically, you know, negative pressure wave shoots back up the exhaust, and if both valves are open during that overlap period that I talked about, that reflective wave coming back down the intake, if you get that right, it'll actually draw more of a suction or a vacuum inside that cylinder or the chamber than the piston will ever pull on its way back down. So you would think the piston pulling down would provide you with more vacuum and more induction. Absolutely not the case. Like, it is a lot more, many times more. So anyway, now that we've gone through that, the camshaft's basically the brains of the engine. You just need the airflow to suit. What are the downfalls of a larger camshaft like this? Well, unfortunately, if you want to move your power band up, most of the time you're going to have to sacrifice drivability or power in another area. It's usually at the lower RPM. That's just the way physics works. In most cases, you'll end up with a situation where you're losing something somewhere to gain something somewhere else, and that's just the way that physics and airflow works. It's very rare for someone to get everything perfectly set up and lined up. I mean, you're going to need flow benches and wet flow benches and all sorts of kind of like R&D, big expensive machines, and a lot of money to test different parts and different camshafts to get it right. So all you can do is calculate basically as best as you can, based off the information that you have, and basically hope for the best. Anyway, we'll get into the dyno graph and I'll show you what happened with my particular experience when I changed my camshafts over, and we'll get into those videos and have a look. So, all right, so here we can see the blue line. It's actually the factory camshafts here. They're just under 200 degrees at 50 duration, roughly 500 lift, roughly. Right? They're on about 112.5 lobe separation angle, and as you can see, they did not quite match the upgraded camshafts, which are nearly 40 degrees more duration intake and exhaust, a little bit more than that on the exhaust actually. These cams came ground on a 108 108 lobe center line, but I didn't like that. I didn't want that because a double overhead cam engine does not require as much overlap to operate as effectively. Some of you 351 Cleveland guys with your big block size valves may have run into this situation as well. Having a massive valve curtain area for your valve to cylinder ratio means you do not require as much overlap. So a lot of people might argue with that, but the results speak for themselves here. As you can see, at about 3,500 RPM here, the factory cams were surpassed by the aftermarket camshafts that we put in. And the interesting thing is that even though the duration was 40 degrees more, we did see peak torque 800 RPM earlier. So as you can see here, this is 800 RPM earlier than this factory camshaft set here. And usually you would expect that from a smaller camshaft, but fortunately that inertial supercharging effect that I was talking about earlier definitely comes into play here. See, underneath here, you're not really getting that airflow. It's not really as efficient, but it definitely takes over here, and you can feel it. This little ramp here feels like VTEC. I mean, in the space of like 1,000 RPM or 12,000 to 1,200 RPM, you're picking up, you know, a lot of horsepower. So, and basically you can see here, it kind of just carries and diverges right up until the red line up here. So what I've done is I've revved the factory cams to 7,200 RPM here, and then we have revved the aftermarket cams to 7,200 RPM. It's worth mentioning that I do rev these cams up to about 7,700 RPM without too much of a significant drop off here. The main advantage with the RPM here is that you are able to hold the gear longer, which means that you stay in that lower gear. So if you're in third gear and you shift to fourth, you're now applying less torque to the wheels via the gearbox because it's a higher ratio. So now we'll say you would usually shift about here because the power's not increasing on the factory cam set, and basically you're going to be back down here in the power band in the next gear. Meanwhile, with the big cams, I'm still revving. I've still got more RPM to play with, more torque because I'm still in third gear, not fourth, and I'll show you guys here what I'm talking about, and you will definitely agree. I think that more RPM is always a good thing. Maybe not time between overhaul. Probably doesn't help you with that. Engine life is reduced with RPM. It's just the way it goes. But, you know, you can see here, big change, right? Alright guys, so what you're about to see here is a few videos of my factory cams racing certain cars and then racing them again after I've upgraded my cams. We'll mention the first car that I raced, this white VY. He's a friend of mine and he did have a full car when I raced him with the factory cams, and I believe he was the only person in the car when I raced him with the cams, so it should give you a pretty good idea of how much gain I actually made, followed by the green GSU at the end. Car is a GSU, which is a supercharged Coyote, which is basically the codename Miami. You'll see the same thing here. There's quite a big difference between the factory cams. We were quite even, and now I'm able to walk away. So I think it's needless to say that I am quite stoked with the outcome of these camshafts. I'm very happy with the way that I chose to change the degree on these cams and altered it to what I believed would work best, and I do think that I managed to get pretty lucky with that. It definitely is working well for me. So the other thing that's really great is the idle. That's definitely one thing that does draw a lot of attention, which can be good and bad. I definitely get a lot of people who enjoy the car, and a lot of thumbs up every time I drive the car. People are waving, calling out to me, giving me thumbs up on the highway, asking me to do burnouts or rev my car and that kind of stuff. So it is nice in a way, but definitely am very happy with this. Hopefully it puts the myth that these 5.4 double overhead cam engines don't make gains from camshafts. While that's not true, it is true that they don't require as much camshaft because they do have more valve area. And basically that's like having a more aggressive camshaft in itself. So that is an advantage, but obviously they can still make gains, as you've seen in this video. So don't believe the hype, don't believe that you can't make gains with double overhead cams. Same for your RB guys, same for the Barra guys. You can definitely make cams, and you should choose cams suited to your application. If you enjoyed that one, don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. Hit that little notifications bell as well so you don't miss a new video, and we'll be back next time. I do have breckie laps again on the 21st of November, and hopefully we're going to get a couple of guys together and have some good runs, and I can make some good videos for you. All right, thanks guys.